Give me 1 second. I got to prepare. We got a guest today that y'all don't know about. We got a guest today in the house. So I turn this down so y'all won't hear that. All right. Yeah, we got a guest. Hopefully that's gonna work. We gonna see. But anyway, uh, when I went home last week, I was talking to my mom, and the more I spend time with her, the more I understand her better. The more I understand her better, and so just talking to her, she doesn't like going to church anywhere anywhere else, and so she let me know that that she wanted to hear what I had to say. I'm like, all right, Mama, I'll see what I can do. I'll work it out. So I got up pretty early this morning, testing some stuff out and seeing if I can make it work for her. And now I got to get used to holding this mic, which is a good thing because when I went to preach in Alabama, I had to hold this mic for 40 minutes. And when I got there, my arm was all cramped up. but anyway, I'm working on a couple of things. But today, again, hey mama, she gonna get this. So this for my mama. So, but anyway, today our scripture lesson is coming from the 23rd number of Psalms, and you're gonna find me. I don't know. I may sound like I'm dragging today because I'm really working on articulating what I'm saying. I went back to listen to a couple of stuff I've been doing, and it sounded terrible to me. My wife's like, "It's fine, it's great," but it just didn't sound. If you were listening to the recording, you wouldn't make out every word. So I'm trying to get better at articulating every word. So I may sound a little slow, and I don't know, but work with your boy if you can. I don't know how much preaching gonna get done today. Uh, I believe it's some preaching gonna get. I believe there is some preaching that's going to get done, but uh, but I'm gonna first tell you that this past week, uh, I think it was Thursday. I was working out in the hot sun, y'all, from 8 o'clock to about 3:30. It was about 98. It's about 98 degrees outside, and I got pretty warm, and this is not the first time I've had that happen to me. It's happened to me before. Even my wife will tell you that there are some nights when I work like that, that when I get in and go to sleep, I'll wake up screaming in the middle of the night in pain because of cramps. And I've been thinking about the situation for a long time, and not a long time, but this particular time made me really consider some things. I'm not uh, 38 anymore, and I'm neither am I 28 anymore. I'm 48 years old, and so I'm like, I'm thinking, more and more like, dang God, you know what I'm saying? Look, I can see, I can see the end. I don't know if you guys have been there. I can see the end to the situation. So I begin to talk to God about it. I'm like, God, now, I got some plans. I got some things I'm trying to do. I got a wife to take care of. I got responsibilities. I got people that are depending on me. I said, now I need a word that's gonna help me. So this word may not be for y'all today. This word for me. So I said, Lord, I need a word, and so I began to just talk to God, and God led me to the 23rd number of Psalms. But before that, uh, the Lord did say some things to me. He says to me, "You're gonna have to. There's some things that you're not gonna be able to do anymore because of what you suffered was heat exhaustion." And I did look it up. Heat exhaustion is when you basically stay out in the sun so long that your body temperature cannot cool you down fast enough. If you persist to stay out in the sun too long, too much longer after that, then you could literally have a heat stroke, which means you could die. Okay. So, and this has happened to me multiple times, probably three times. My wife, maybe four. But my wife, like I said, one of the signs of heat exhaustion is you're gonna get really hot. A lot of times when I have heat exhaustion, I can even hear my heart beating. You could just, I mean, that means your blood pressure is probably on up there. And more times than not, you're gonna experience severe muscle cramps. And she'll tell you, man, it's one time I worked in a situation so long that I cramped. I mean, both legs cramped up. Just imagine, middle of the night, 12, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, both legs cramp up at the same time. I mean, you can't get them. I mean, my legs, inside of my legs, what it's called, the inside of my legs cramped up. My calves cramped. I mean, I had like 4 cramps at the same time. It was severe. And at the time I didn't think much of it. I said, well, maybe I didn't drink enough water. But on this particular Thursday, I mean, I really concentrated on drinking a lot of water. I probably drank about 8 to 10 bottles of water, but that didn't help. So anyway, again, I talked to God about it, and I was concerned, like, Lord, I ain't tripping. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to take care of my family, but I don't want to be stupid either. I don't want to be dumb. I don't want to just put myself in harm's way. You know what I'm saying, to take care of my family. I said, now, so God, what we going to do? And I need a word. And the Lord says, 23rd number song. Okay, all right, Lord. And so here we are at the 23rd number songs. And I'm going to read it really quickly. I'm sure you guys are quite familiar with it, but I'm going to go ahead and read it. And it says, basically, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. He says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Very, very, very familiar, very relatively simple passage. But I want to talk about the subject, just the subject, just the thought to kind of, for us to bounce off of today is I want to talk about the shadow of death. The shadow of death. Because that's where I feel like I'm about to go in. They say, some folks say, that either you're going into a storm, or you in a storm, or either you coming out of a storm. And to me, I'm about to go in one. And I call it the shadow of death. Okay? But looking at the text, and I did something I don't ever do, and it's Brico's fault. Okay? I got my little strong. I said, nah. At first, I looked online to see if I could find my little old Strong's book, online, but they ain't had none. It was trash. So I said, man, I think I got one. Well, in my bookshelf over there, sure enough, had that big joker. That joker, I said, look at here. And then had to go in there and figure out how to use it, because it can be complicated, and it's very exhaustive. It says exhaustive. I mean, he started looking up words, and there's like 20 meanings, and so you have to decide which meaning is going to fit in the text, for lack of better words. But the man of God, we believe that David wrote the 23rd number of Psalms, and the first part of that first verse is so crucial, y'all. I can't emphasize. I can't emphasize that enough. He says, the Lord is my shepherd. Now, I looked up the Lord. I looked up the Lord. And in the context in which David uses, I found out that he was talking about Jehovah. Jehovah is the Jewish name of God. He was talking about Elohim. He was talking about the supreme gods, the God of all gods, the gods above all gods, the God. The proper name of God is the Lord. The proper name of God for me is my Lord. He ain't, he might be your Lord, but guess what? He my Lord. And he is my shepherd, which tells you a lot about it. If I say the Lord is my shepherd, it tells you a lot. It tells you that he is the one that leads me. He is the one that guides me. He is the one that gives me information. He is the one that takes care of me. He is the one that provides for me. And see, I have to remember that when I'm about to go into the shadow of death. I have to remember that when I'm up against a situation like I'm up against now, when I'm trying to figure out a question. Can I be real with y'all today? Am I going to be able to take care of my family by cutting out a certain amount of work out of my schedule? Can I do it? And right now, I ain't real sure or confident that I can get that done. So now I have to rely on my Lord, my shepherd, the one that takes care of me, the one that I say I trust, the one I say I believe in. Now I have to lean on him and ask him to help me. The Lord he's my shepherd. And since he is, it is very crucial. Am I going slow enough? It is very crucial that you understand this part. The Lord is my shepherd, and since he is my shepherd, I shall not want. Now, I had to look at that now. Had to think about that one. Pause for the cause on that one, because the fact of the matter is there are some things in my life that I want. There's some things that I want, y'all. Now, let me try. I'm trying to be slow and take my time. But if you're talking about a shepherd and then you're talking about sheep, you know sheep line, as they say, those folks, they line to get out of line. They line to stray. They line to do some stuff they ain't got no business. So the Lord, him being the shepherd, has to get us back in line. And there are some things that sheep gonna want that might not be good for them. Or it might be some things that they think they ready for, but they really not able to handle it. So the shepherd, which is my Lord, has to guide me and teach me and show me and take me where he wants me to go, when he wants to take me, when I can handle it. That's why the Lord is my shepherd. Now, the Lord is my shepherd, and since he is, I shall not want. But because he's my shepherd, y'all, I can lean and depend on him and know that he maketh me lie down in green pastures. Now, I had to look up the word make it now. And when you're looking at old Strong's, it basically says really he makes you. He ordains you. He gives you. He brings you forth. He appoints you. He carries you. He intercedes for you so that you can lie down in green pastures. Everything you're doing, it goes back to what the scripture says. I'm trying to slow down now. That all things work for the good of them that are called according to the Lord. Everybody that allows the Lord to be their shepherd, he guides you. He gives you. He ordains you. He brings you forth. He appoints you. He carries you. He intercedes for you so that you will lie down in green pastures. Guess what? Even though it might not look green, you can lie there anyhow. Now, let me qualify that now. Let me qualify that. Even though I might not feel like I'm in green pastures, I can rest knowing that my shepherd, which is the Lord, takes care of me in spite of how I feel, in spite of how it looks, because the Lord is my shepherd. So since he is my shepherd, he maketh me to lie down in green pastures. Even though it might not look like green pastures, I can lie down as if it's green pastures. I can rest as if it's green pastures. I can have peace as if it's green pastures. That's what I'm telling you. Okay? He says, he restoreth my soul. No, he leadeth me beside the still waters. Yeah, he leadeth me. He guides me. He does all those things to get me to still waters. Even though I might be in the midst of a sea, in my mind, it's still waters. Even though all hell is breaking loose, in my mind, it's still waters. He maketh me to lie down beside still waters. And then he restoreth my soul. And that's the part I like. He restoreth my soul. Had to look that up too. Restoreth. It don't mean I start all over again. Right. It just means when I get to the end of my stuff, when I get to the end of me, he said, now let me give you some more. You know, when you get to the end of me, let me give you some more. And that's what happens on Sunday morning, y'all, sometimes. When I'm run down and I done had a rough week and things have been hard on me, I can come into the presence of the Lord, y'all, and give him honor and praise, and he'll restore me. He will give me strength enough to get up on Monday morning and do it all over again. Yeah. And sometimes during the week, I have to go ahead and get restored. Sometimes that day done been so rough, I have to go in there and get restored. And then it says, he leadeth me to paths of righteousness for whose sake? His sake. There you go. Yeah, sometimes the stuff I have to go through, y'all, it ain't for me. It ain't for my happiness. It ain't so I can feel good. Sometimes it's for God's sake. Some things we go through, y'all, and it ain't got nothing to do with us. It's for somebody who's watching us. It's for somebody who's trying to see what it is and how it is we're going to do, how we going to behave. Sometimes we are doing things for God's sake. He says, yea, and this where I had to really lay on in here now, y'all. He says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, he says, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Yeah. Even though I walk through the shadow of death. I want to deal with that for a minute. I had to look that up too. The shadow of death. The Strong didn't really give a whole lot about that too much. It did talk about shadow. It did talk about death. But notice it didn't say definite death. It didn't say imminent death, means death is gonna happen to you. You finna die. It says the shadow of death. So there are some situations in my life in the past, I can tell y'all, that I've been to some situations, y'all, I've looked at it, and it looked like if I go that way, death is going to happen. It was a shadow of death. It didn't look good. It didn't look safe. It didn't look like I was going to come out on the other side. It looked like a shadow of death. And see, that's how the devil will mess you up. The God will say, I want you to go that way. And we'd be like, Lord, now I see lions and tigers and bears and I see all kind of stuff over there that could possibly throw me off, kill me, jack me up, mess my dough up, mess my money up, mess my business up, mess my household up, Lord. You saying go that way? I don't know, God. And God says, he said, nah, that's when I need you to trust me. In the shadow of death, when it looked like it ain't gonna work, I need you to trust me. Don't you know that shepherd, when he's trying to guide them sheep, that sometimes they be like, no, they be trying to back up. And I'm going to get to that in a minute, but he had to use something to get their attention. He had to use something to get their attention. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. But he says, yea, though I walk through the shadow of death, he says, what? I fear no evil. Why? Because the Lord is my shepherd. See, it's something about the Lord being your shepherd that when you're going through, you know everything is going to be all right. Why? Because the Lord is my shepherd. The same one that got all this stuff in his hand, that's my shepherd. The one who has all wisdom in his hand, that's my shepherd. The one that got all the money in the world, that's my shepherd. The one that got my healing, that's my shepherd. I will fear no evil, for why? He is with me. Yeah, he is with me. He says, yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for he is with me. He says, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Now, I had to start right there, Pastor. I had to start right now. Now, staff and rod sound like the same thing. Staff and rod sound like the same thing. I had to go and do some research. Staff and rod sound like, because when you look at the picture of Jesus, you see he just had one thing in his hand. Sometimes I figure, well, maybe he was, I don't know. But I did some research. And the staff represents support, substance. The staff does. Yeah, so when the sheep get on the edge of the cliff, when you about to fall off, when you about to go crazy, when you're about to lose your mind, he'll reach over with the hook. I wish I had an umbrella here. He'll reach over with the hook and he'll grab the sheep and pull him back in. He'll support him. He keeps him from falling over. That's the staff. And the book says that he has another stick in his hand called a rod. So when you refuse to get in line, when you choose to walk on the edge and you won't listen, he'll use a rod. He'll He'll pop you with it and get you in line. So he got the staff to support you and sustain you, and he got the rod to discipline you when you won't listen. Get in line. Stop being afraid. Go down this path. Everything gonna be all right. He'll use that rod sometimes, like we do with our kids. How to use the rod sometimes to get them in line. He said that staff and that rod, they comfort me. Yeah. Thou prepares a table for me in the presence of my enemies. Yeah. He takes care of me, feeds me, regardless of what's going on with the lions and tigers and bears. He's still taking care of me. He still take care of me, provide for me. So I say to myself, as I get ready to go into the shadow of death, that the Lord is my shepherd. And since he is, I shall not want. That means that I ain't going to have to worry about it, even though it don't look that good, y'all. He says, I'm not going to have to worry about it because the Lord is my shepherd. Well, who is the Lord? The Lord is my Savior. The Lord is the one that gives me strength. The Lord is the one that gave me problems electric. The Lord is the one that gave my wife. The Lord is the one that has kept me. And when I look back over where I come from, I found out that it was the Lord that kept me. It was the Lord that provided for me. And he says to me, Zach, though you're about to go through the shadow of death one more again, just know that just like I took care of you last time, I'm going to take care of you again. So you go on, son. Don't you worry about it because I am your shepherd. And because I am your shepherd, you shall not want. I'm done. Quick and easy. I'm done. I'm done. Now I got the now I'm gonna have to marinate on it now. Because I still gotta go through the shadow of death. You think you ain't gonna go through the shadow of death sometime? You think you ain't gonna have to go through some trouble sometime? You think you're not gonna have to go through some situation and circumstance that you don't know how you gonna make it? You think God gonna let you do that? No. He says sometimes you're gonna have to walk through. Did he say? He didn't say you can lay down. He said you got to walk through the shadow of death. When the money is funny, you got to walk. When the food is short, you got to walk. When your folk ain't acting right, you got to walk. When it look like all hell is about to break loose on the job, you got to walk. He says, walk through the shadow of death. I can do that because what? The Lord is my shepherd. The proper name of my God. He's my Lord, the one that takes care of me. I'm done, y'all. I don't know what happened. I'm done.